I'll try and measure this wall here. Let's see if I can measure it. Yep. Okay, what do we got? We're standing here at the corner of Pearl and Seneca Streets in downtown Buffalo. Behind me is part of the Joseph Ellicott Historic District. Beautiful buildings, including a row of 1840 commercial buildings. During the 1950s, 1960s, 1970s in Buffalo and cities across the United States, we demolished buildings like this and put up buildings like the Marine Midland Center and its plaza. And when we did this, we made big towers and surrounded them with wind-blown open spaces. Behind me, you can see a remnant of the plaza as originally designed. This plaza was stillborn. If it doesn't attract people, it just doesn't work. Although you had the biggest building in Buffalo, it created dead space around it and then abandoned, and it is now in the process of being refilled and reimagined. Distressingly, you can see going up a nightmare of a wall that overtops the wall that was constructed here in the 1970s. At least you could look over it into the plaza, and people from the plaza could look outside. Now you see a wall that, geez, look at those cars here. This is 12 feet high or something. These are 15, 16 inches high. Yeah, let's call it 16 inches. And there are 16 courses, so someone with a calculator figure it out. Over 20 feet high at this point. They are making it very resistant, not only to pedestrians, but to invading armies.
Ah, blow my nose at you!
That someone conceived of this and it passed muster.
Inconceivable!
People looking at it, yeah, that's great. Let's build a 12-foot high pseudo-rusticated wall, and that'll be a great thing for the city. You know, that's a time when you want a planning department or a planning board to review it and say, hang on, what's that going to do for the property owner across the street? Or what's that going to do to help us connect the waterfront to downtown via Pearl Street? We need street-level activity. That's urbanism 101. Precondition of a healthy city is to have doors and windows on the public sidewalk.
Are you saying you can't just clamber up and go through that little hole there?
You know, yeah. Well, see, the danger about clambering up, we don't know what's going to come here. We could clamber up and look into the mouth of a cannon, and in fact get our head blown off by a cannonball. You see behind me, if you look through this construction fence, you see a fragment of the old wall. A developer, to induce use on the plaza, is in fact now making the wall higher.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
And if we look to my left here, you'll see along Pearl Street, in the distance is the Canal District, where the state, at the end of the day, is going to have spent hundreds of millions of dollars to recreate a historic street network, eliminate the Skyway. A lot of this highway interchange blight that we're in right now is going to be gone, and we're looking to build buildings in this new urbanist way, and suddenly we're faced literally with a concrete wall. I mean, I've been by Sing Sing prison. This looks a lot like Sing Sing. But is it appropriate for a very important corner in downtown Buffalo? Why would you want to do this?
Tear down this wall.
You see on the left here, you have two little, I don't know, what are they? Clubhouse buildings, bar buildings, whatever. Who knows what they are, but obviously they're not inviting the public because there are no doors facing Seneca Street here or facing Main Street over there. Alarmingly, look at this. There are no doors on Main or Seneca Street. That's a fundamental problem if you want to revitalize a city corner. And here we have potentially a very important city corner. Unfortunately, these opportunities come along once every 50 years. It looks like we're on the verge of blowing a once in every 50-year opportunity here. You know, the other interesting thing about these buildings, one of the things you want to do to enliven a street, you want clear glass so you can see what's going on in the place. So if it's a restaurant, the people on the street are your theater. If you're walking by in the street, you can see people in the restaurant. That's your theater. And there's social safety working both ways. But yet, now you can't look through the window. You can be standing right here in this godforsaken area, the wind whistling and everything. No pedestrians here because it's such a pedestrian-unfriendly environment. And that's exactly the environment you want if you're bent on ill-gotten gains.
It's a morbid thought.
So prey on the occasional pedestrian coming here because no one else is going to be in the vicinity and people right next door are behind opaque glass and can't see you. So we have a dead zone around our public library. We have a dead zone on Pearl Street to Court Street because of Main Place Mall. Another project meant to revitalize downtown. A third project to revitalize downtown is the Convention Center, which created dead zones on both Pearl Street and Franklin Street. So we're very good at creating dead zones. You think we would have learned the lesson. We have good examples of historic buildings right across the street. This type of urbanism works. And then we have an opportunity to undo one of our greatest mistakes, the Marine Midland Center and its plaza. And we're blowing it. By the way, really sophisticated joinery here. You wouldn't even imagine that it's not solid stone, quarried, carved by hand, brought to the site by oxen. To let you in on a secret, this actually isn't chiseled by dedicated masons and brought over here on the Erie Canal. No, it's poured concrete, and you can tell by this joint that sticks out 1 inch and then the smooth face of the concrete panel.